Modern survival classic The Forest just received a brand new sequel, Sons of the Forest. And while some systems carry over from the first game, there's a lot of new stuff to discover, and it can be overwhelming to start. Here's 13 things to do first in Sons of the Forest. When first booting the game up, you'll need to decide whether you want to create a single-player or multiplayer world, and this can't be changed later. If you create a single-player world, it's locked to just you, but a big advantage to this is that opening your inventory or pausing the game actually pauses the action. Multiplayer may offer safety in numbers, but the inventory operates in real time. Get familiar with the new equipment, inventory pack, and guidebook. They're all somewhat similar to the original game, but there are some notable differences. Spend your first moments acquainting yourself with the new crafting and building. For instance, the new inventory pack is way bigger than it was before, so a lot of the items you collect may end up being off-screen and you'll need to move your cursor to the edge of your screen to get a full look. Also, the guidebook is split up between schematics and just drawings on how to build things, so take the time to learn which structures are prefabs and which ones you'll need to figure out how to build on your own. Longtime PC players will do this by habit, but try increasing the FOV slider in the options menu. You'll need to gather all the resources you can, and that extra screen real estate really pays off. Don't like where the game started you? Start over. Whether it be in a thick forest, a snowy mountain, or a sandy beach, Sons of the Forest offers a few different starting locations. So if you don't like where you've spawned, quit out and just start over. You can hold S on your keyboard or Y on your controller to skip the opening cutscene if you're not keen on watching it over and over. Our 2 cents is that the beach is one of the best starting areas. It's got an open area for building with trees nearby, clams for eating, seagulls for feathers and meat, and a nearby stream for water. But it's up to you where you choose to make your first home. Get familiar with and utilize Kelvin as much as you can. Kelvin should always be gathering or building, so while we don't want you to miss out on the fun of chopping trees, if Kelvin is just standing around, don't be afraid to delegate some work to him. We recommend having him grab sticks at the start. Sticks are essential for building holders for each of the main crafting components, as well as beds and birdhouses. So build a few stick holders right from the jump, and give Kelvin the task of filling them. That being said, prioritize building rock, log, and stick holders for your base for Kelvin to fill. You can assign him to gather items, but unless he has somewhere to put them, he'll have to drop them on the ground where you're currently standing, or he has to try and give them to you. Build holders so that you can always know where the materials he's collecting are being dropped. Turn sprint and crouch toggle on. You'll be doing a lot of running and ducking in Sons of the Forest, and you'll want to save your pinky. Pick up everything while you travel, like rocks, sticks, and leaves. Sons of the Forest doesn't have a weight mechanic, meaning you're never going to be over-encumbered, so while you can only carry a set amount of each item, every expedition away from your camp should see you returning with as many items as your character can carry. The axe makes for a passable starting weapon, but if you want to protect yourself or hunt from a distance, we suggest the bow. You can build it using mostly materials found in the starting containers, especially if you use our duplication guide found on IGN.com, and stone arrows only take a few plentiful items to craft. You can also print 3D arrows, but we'll get to that in just a moment. We caution against rushing off to explore caves or look for your fallen friends too early. The first few hours should be spent gathering and storing supplies, and then building a small base to survive. To explore caves or simply venture away requires you to be ready for both combat and basic survival, and rushing off too fast leaves you ill-equipped to deal with either. Pick a home base, try to build it up, and pray that Kelvin doesn't destroy it first. You utter dolt. The first stop when you do venture away from your home base should be to find the underground facility with a 3D printer. This room has tape, arrows, snacks, and of course a 3D printer to craft things like a sled, flask, arrows, and tech armor. There's also a sleeping bag so you can get rest safely. Build drying racks and get food on them as fast as possible. Curing food in Sons of the Forest takes a lot longer than it did in the original, so make sure to always have those in full capacity to save time on eating. Eating cured food benefits you the same as eating cooked food. Of course, you'll probably still find yourself cooking pretty often, as it's an essential way to keep your hunger meter full, but cooking takes precious time that you just can't afford to waste. Best practice here is to do other tasks while the food cooks. Or better yet, build a bench or chair near the fire. That way, you can raise your tired meter at the same time you're monitoring your dinner. We hope this list of tips helps you survive when just starting out in Sons of the Forest. Have any sage wisdom you'd like to pass along? Make sure to leave it in the comments below, and while you're here, make sure to check out our first 16 minutes of gameplay. For everything else gaming, keep it right here on IGN.